Hello and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday the 9th of June 2025. It is Convention Week here. Convention Week always comes up very quickly. It's Gary here again, of course, and we're going to talk all things convention and a wee bit of Rangers stuff on the call today. Not the call, on the podcast today. So as I discussed last week, I have my good friend Mr. Colin Ferguson Bowman, the president of the Orlando Rangers Supporters Club, to join me this week. Colin, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy to see that I was not the final nail in the coffin of the podcast, and you still had enough listeners to come back and do it again this week.
Do you know, I got some feedback based on last week saying that you actually saved me time because I didn't have to do a what Gaz got wrong this week when I made a mess last week, because you just called me out right away at the time when I said the makeover instead of the takeover. So you're actually helping, by saving people's time and such. It's been a wild ride organising this convention. We'll get to the convention topics after the initial parts here, but it's not just convention stuff that's happening or going on at the club. And firstly, and the most important news that came out of the club last week was, of course, the appointment of Russell Martin as our new head coach, which is the terminology that we're going to have to get used to using from this point. I don't remember certainly my vivid memory of supporting Rangers, two such monumental events that would happen within a week of each other. One being, of course, the takeover being confirmed, and then 5-6 days later, the confirmation of the head coach. What's your thoughts overall in terms of where we're at right now, and specifically on Russell Martin as our guy now?
Okay, well, as I said last week, I didn't know a lot about him, but I have been paying attention this week, and I jokingly said to you the minute the appointment was made, I made a joke about the hair, the brogues, the fact that Rangers need to invest in an iron for that tablecloth.
Yeah.
And I was like tongue-in-cheek, but the whole thing, non-stop Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere you looked, that's all everyone could talk about was those shoes. Yeah. And those aren't cheap shoes either. I mean, I know they're not brogues, but they're not a cheap pair of trainers like everyone would have you believe.
Yeah.
And I guess Chris Sutton must be on our WhatsApp group, because he was going on about how deluded Rangers fans are if the shoes are the biggest problem they see.
Wow, I must get some sort of wind on it. It's a unique time for us. I think, I don't know, I know that when we chatted about it, my preference of the three names mentioned, I think I said, would have been Steven Gerrard first, because of my tattoo that I never got to really enjoy because he left before it was finished, and then Russell Martin, and then David Ancelotti because he doesn't know us, he doesn't have any real connection to the club, and I think I was really going on that angle. And then I started to think, I can't remember. I mean, it must have been Steven Gerrard, and maybe someone can prove me wrong, or you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember the last time, other than Gerrard, that we hired a manager in the summertime, when you're kind of getting prepared. Like, the last few have been necessity signings or appointments because of the club being in disarray and the previous manager not doing what the previous manager was supposed to be doing. So we have this opportunity to kind of ease into it and say, right, we're going to take a search, we're going to do our diligence and figure out what we're going to do at the same time as this monumental shift in ownership and culture and focus for the club. So I started to think back the last time, and this is true, and I don't say this with any pride actually, the last time I was kind of underwhelmed, genuinely underwhelmed by a manager, and I'm not saying I'm underwhelmed by Russell Martin, it was when Walter Smith took over, when Graham Souness left. And I was actually talking about this to my love Erin yesterday, and I mean, I came to love Walter, and I was very fortunate that we had a relationship of sorts before he passed, and still keep in touch with the family. And it was kind of like prestige. Like, Graham Souness was a larger than life character. He was box office. He was someone that I would gravitate towards just to consume everything that he's doing. And then when he left, and then you've got this guy who you haven't really seen too much of. We don't have the access to the inner workings of a club like we have today. So there's this, what I thought at the time, this grey-haired, mild-mannered gentleman it's just not the same. It's just a wee bit less exciting. And look what he did for us. He becomes, one of, if not the best manager, and of course has a statue outside. So it's one of these, it's not the worst thing in the world to be kind of shrugging our shoulders and saying, I don't know, who would have really got us jumping out of our seats? There was pros and cons to every single one. The thing I like about Russell Martin is he has tenure. He has tenure at different clubs. The way that he spoke obviously about, he mentioned not being first choice, despite the club saying this was our number one pick, which is a wee bit of a missed message there. But in terms of what he says, each project is different. And I know that these managers today use the projects as a name for their tenure and what they're planning to do. But he's aware of the savviness of the club, and the one thing I loved what he said was, we need to win as we're building. We can't wait for that. So we have to figure out a way that there'll be a short-term plan and a longer-term plan that we can build in and do that. So I liked that kind of overview. And the simple fact is he's here. And he's our guy, and what are we going to do? We're not renowned for not backing our managers, maybe to the end of their tenure we are, but that's not a thing that we do, and we give people the gears and the way in. So that's a wee bit of a synopsis for me.
No, it's a good point as well, because if you think about it, all our managers up to a certain point, until Souness really, had big, deep, long ties into the club. Souness comes along, different, obviously Rangers supporter, but a huge, absolutely huge name.
Yeah.
He goes. So now we're left with Walter, Archie, it's a different thing. We go through that, we get so comfortable with everything that's going on, with him. And then we're excited, was it Le Guin was next? And that's another one with a big reputation. And then McLeod, we just end up with big names that give us huge expectations until they don't,
Yeah.
And then we know about the unfortunate circumstances that supplied it. And then we got some absolute wallopers that came in that had no clue. And I don't know who was making those hires. But as you say, we have a manager right here before the season starts. And for everyone saying that we're not going to attract anyone and we don't really know what we're doing coaching-wise and stuff like that, I hope I'm not jinxing it or feeling like too excited, but some of these names, I'm just excited I've actually heard of them.
Yeah.
Normally we're getting linked with all these players for 4 million, 5 million, 6 million that I couldn't pick out, of a lineup.
Yeah.
But now, I'm hearing some names, and I'm like, well, I've heard of him, I know him, and stuff like that. And a couple of them might be older, but I don't know. I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah,
I do. I'm like, I like what I said, and people are still going on about shoes, haircut. I don't care if he dresses like RuPaul and walks up and down the sideline wearing a tutu.
Yeah,
I want to see results, and I don't want that. Oh, it's going to take us 3 windows, so just be patient.
Yeah.
We've had 40 windows.
Yeah, feels like it. No, you're absolutely right. So in terms of football for the last week, obviously nothing domestic. We had international football on the weekend, and our wonderful Scottish team had another very Scottish result. The only highlight, I didn't see any of the game, I have to say that, but the only highlight would be John Souttar getting on the score sheet. And another result, the Steve Clarke phenomenon in Scotland is just incredible, because as far as I can tell, mostly every other manager has been fired for having such a poor record, yet he seems to be Mr. Teflon over there. I'm not advocating for him to be sacked in any way, but there's something amiss there, that they can't get the type and style of results that we're looking to try and get, and yet he seems to be completely comfortable in his position. What's your thoughts?
I want him gone.
Yeah.
I cannot stand the style of play. We go on these runs where we look awful. We lose to the worst teams. we get hammered along the way, and then because somebody will go, oh, look, we did beat Spain. It was like a million years ago now.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we'll get a couple of results in meaningless games. It's like, it's okay again. But that was abysmal. And I feel bad for the wee boy he put in goal, who must be like 13 and played like 2 minutes of football in his life. I mean, he walked out there and he looked terrified, you know. And I know everyone's going, why is Liam Kelly not in there? Oh, it's because Rangers. But no, he was injured. So we have to, we give a benefit of the doubt of that. But you've got McCrory there on the bench, who's a proven good goalkeeper, and he's not a kid. Yeah. That's what everyone, I think at Rangers we didn't think Allan McGregor was a real man till he was like 32 or something, even though, it's like, but no, he has to go. And even, I don't know, it was 3-0 last time I looked up today, but it's just garbage. Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Hopefully, better times for Rangers will in some way exponentially become better times for Scotland. That would be the hope anyway. In terms of shout-outs for this last week, I need to start on some sad news, unfortunately, and that was the confirmed passing last week of Tam Seaton, who had affiliations and links with the Naples Rangers Supporters Club down in Florida. I met Tam a number of years ago when Mary, his love of his life, was still alive, and honestly a nicer man you couldn't have met. And he was just the same all the time. Very, very popular guy. Never had a bad word to say about anyone. Just loved to live his life and created a really good positive energy. I know that he was sick quite poorly for a number of years. It felt like, actually, he was struggling, but he always just had a smile on his face and a cheery word to say and such. And I followed it fairly loosely in terms of the posts and such he was putting on social media. And then, unfortunately, it was confirmed, as I say, last week that he passed on. So from all of NARSA, myself included, and personally, to Tam's family and friends, sincere condolences to everyone. He's now with Mary, and I'm sure they're probably having a ball doing whatever they are doing. Now, did you ever get the opportunity to meet Tam, Colin?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it was at things that I wasn't attending.
Yeah, so it's really, really sad. In terms of other shout-outs, to kind of lift it back up a wee bit, what do you think of the new away shirt, Colin? That seems to have been a wee bit divisive as well.
I don't hate it. Personally, I no longer can invest in any kind of white shirts because it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And this beard does not help trying to control what's going on to your shirt. So, but as we were all talking about, it reminded me of Glenn Hoddle playing for England. Yeah. I don't hate it. It's not the worst shirt we've ever had. I mean, I don't know what the hate is for. I mean, it's our colours. Yeah. It's our logo. It's got an Umbro badge on it. Yeah. It's a lot of shirt designers out there.
Yeah, there is after the fact, most of them as well. So I think I agree with you. I think it's quite nice. I don't imagine I'll actually get that one this year, but I am thankfully getting the new home shirt brought over by my friend Paul to the convention, so I'll get a chance to wear that on Friday night. Looking forward to that, and we'll see.
Oh no, we're going to be twinning.
Oh, are you doing the same?
Oh well, mine's sitting over there. It arrived it was actually, I got up at 3 a.m. to make sure I could get my fat bastard size. Yeah. And because they sell out super quickly for some reason. I don't know. Nobody in Glasgow looks as big as me, but these shirts, they're just fly off. Yeah. So I got it, and it came within 4 days.
Oh, that's really good.
Which is amazing. Because my check I was waiting for from somebody in Florida took 7 days. So I don't know what the score is there. So
we'll probably get a chance to see both the home and away shirt this week with people sporting them, I'm sure. On another shout out, a personal one for me for this week is my beautiful baby boy Leo received class honours or school honours at his high school for averaging over 80% in his first year. He has one final exam to go tomorrow, which I believe is science, I think, and so he's doing a bit of studying about that. And he also was awarded the best forward in his high school rugby team as well, nominated by the teachers. So he had quite the week last week. It's great to see him getting rewarded with that. And we've got his banquet for the sports sports department, I guess it's called, or whatever it is. So we'll get a chance to see him tonight and such. This is my week with Leo, and I don't get to see him because I'm flying to Florida. He still is refusing to come along, so I'm going to miss him extra much. So it's great to give him a chance to get a wee shout out on the pod here. And there was also an article on the Rangers website, if you get a chance to see it. And I thought it was really good the way that they did it. They basically talked about the women's team and some updates to the squad, which were really people leaving. And it says that we can confirm that Tessel Madag, Victoria Essen and Chelsea Cornet will depart the club following the expiry of their contracts. With a combined 12 seasons with the club, all three have played a crucial role in the squad. In recent years, Jane Ross, who announced her retirement last month, will also depart, while Charlie Devlin's loan spell has come to an end. We thank Tessel, Victoria, Chelsea, Jane and Charlie for their contributions to the club and wish them all the very best for the future. Nice to draw a line under that. And one thing, not Rangers related in terms of shout-outs, but I did see an article on the Sky Sports website yesterday that Uriah Rennie, the English Premier League's first black referee, had passed away, just 65 years old. He'd passed away, and he was... I just remember him from growing up, and he just made it normal. I mean, it's incredible to see it in this day and age, but he made it normal for people of colour to be in prominent positions within the administration side of football or the support side of football. And my understanding is he had some sort of rare heart condition that ended up affecting his mobility, and I think he ended up being paralysed from the waist down, and then I think he succumbed to something. So it sounds like a horrific ending for the poor fellow, but condolences to all of his family and friends as well. And a final shout out, of course, to the Melbourne City Loyal Rangers Supporters Club, who are having their cultural weekend November 21st to 22nd, doing similar things to what we're doing at the convention. So with that said, a wonderful segue into the convention. I get to confirm that the convention is now, wait for it, 3 days and 0 weeks until we head to Kissimmee. Colin and I were chatting just before we started recording here about how ready we are, the journey that has been taken, some of it under not very easy conditions, I have to say. And here we are, it's convention week, it's happening. I would say it one more time, it's June the 12th to the 15th. We have our first night going on June the 11th, of course, which is going to be the Old Town Takeover. And as I did confirm last week, the former chairman, Fraser Thornton, is joining us. We have some other folks from Rangers going to be there at the same time. We have the Old Town Takeover happening on Wednesday. We're going to be meeting at Southern Breeze if you're coming out. The golf is formally officially sold out. I mentioned that last week. And then we had some movement around there. So that's been taken off the website, sold out. We do have some places left on, I think there's maybe 3 spots left. We can accommodate probably 5 or 6 actually for the football for Saturday morning. Just a reminder, you can buy a Thursday, Friday night package. Both are on the Rangers website. It's not the Rangers website. They are on the Rangers website and the NARSA website. $100 for both nights, or $170 for the Walter Smith Memorial Grand Banquet, which is Saturday. I did send an email out to everyone who has purchased tickets for the Grand Banquet this morning, just asking for any dietary preferences. So if you haven't had a chance to see that email, please look at it quite quickly. I need to confirm with the hotel. I think it's Wednesday at the latest for any dietary requirements and such. And also, I've done a first pass at the seating chart, and I just want to know if anybody specifically wants to sit next to or not sit next to particular people. Please do let me know in advance and we'll get that organised. But I think we're in good shape with that. And one final reminder is that you need to get your ESTA if you're on a UK passport. Don't wait till the last minute to get that organised, or you could be in soapy bubble at the airport. I did send a note to the NARSA membership last week, just basically a convention update number 2. I'd sent one back in March saying this convention is very, very difficult and different for us for a variety of reasons, and I would endeavour to provide more status updates. I didn't get a chance to do that through timing, but sent that out as well. So if there's any comments from a NARSA club membership perspective on the convention, please don't hesitate to reach out. Colin, what other stuff do you have to tell us? Some exciting things happening on the convention front. It's all starting to feel convention-like.
Oh man, this was the this was the weekend that was. I started off my Saturday morning at the hotel, dropping off the hugest banner I've ever seen in my whole life, which is the NARSA banner.
Yeah.
Which then gave me the opportunity to walk around the grounds, walk around the hotel, and just generally get really excited about what a terrific venue this is.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't actually ever stayed there, but my son has played football there for so many years. So, and Orlando City play on the pitches that you guys are going to be using for their preseason training, and I remember watching them against the Red Bulls and stuff. So, you know, it's a tremendous facility. Apart from the golf course, they have that golf range, which looks amazing. There's bars. I have my eye on the lazy river. So at some point, I'll be turning off my phone and ignoring everyone and just sitting on one of those. Actually, I don't need the tube. I'm big enough to just float there myself. So, you know. So that was that. And then I had to go and pick up the convention magazine, which I'm actually really proud of. And I think it looks great. And I hope you're all going to really like it. And Sunday was spent working with the DJ and everything for the 3 nights, because I'll be doing the 4th day on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Murphy's is all set up. It's going to get all decorated up tonight. We have so many things planned for such a small time, it feels like. And some people are going to miss out because they have to leave at 3.
Yeah.
But that's not my problem. We'll have a little gator there for you to take photos with. The crazy golf across the alleyway. Beer specials on tenants. Iron brew. Breakfast. Roast dinners. We've done as much as we can possibly get done in this time frame.
Yeah.
Wednesday night's a little more laid back. I don't know how that's going to go at all. I just know that my wife said, "Can you remember to bring $100 so I can go and buy rocks?" There's a rock store there, and she wants all the crystals and things like that. So, you know, I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone, seeing all those great Rangers jerseys everywhere, and spending some time in the homemade moonshine bar.
Yeah. You know what? It's going to be a great time. I did get a chance prior to recording to see the physical copy of the magazine, and it is incredible. It's magnificent. It's going to be, I mean, they're all nice keepsakes, but the amount of work that goes into putting a magazine together at the best of times is difficult. You know, with the time frame that we had, with the takeover happening, with the somewhat busyness of certain partners to try and get what we need to get done. The magazine has worked out incredibly well. Lots and lots of really, really good information there. I did notice it was kind of cloudy in the photographs that you shared, and then I looked at the weather for this week and we're expecting some thunder showers. No?
You're just going to cook. Just bring your sunblock. I mean, that head is going to have a real problem with Florida's heat.
I've got my factor 60 already sorted out. That's going to be...
You need a bandage.
Maybe. Want a bandana? Maybe something like that.
Like the mummy. You should be like the mummy when you go to the pool.
Exactly. So, I mean, we're literally in the final stage planning of what's going on, and hopefully we'll get all the place settings done. I arrive there around about 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and we will... so, I mean, it's basically bang down at the hotel, check in, throw my bag in the room, and change my t-shirt, and then head over to Old Town Kissimmee. So I'm really looking forward to just immersing myself in everything and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do at the same time. It's going to be a tremendous time. One other reminder, we do have our annual general meeting at the convention. That's on Saturday, late morning, probably, might even start about noon, depending on how long the football takes in the morning, and we'll have a great time there. We'll elect a new NARSA executive. We'll see what that looks like as we move forward from there. And you said, you confirmed last week you were interested in a position, Colin, if I remember correctly. You don't have to.
I'm pretty sure that's not what that hand signal meant.
No, I thought you were saying one. One as in number one. I don't know how that went. In terms
Also,
of,
do remind people to look out that Sandra did send out a lot of information about the AGM last week, and I know some people don't get it for some reason. So
yeah, we try and encourage all the presidents and secretaries to send it to their clubs, and some do, some don't. We do the finances. The financials will probably be going out, if not today, tomorrow. We have the final version. Just need to sit down with some quiet time and make sure the finances are looking the way that they're supposed to be looking, so we can talk to those on the weekend. But yeah, all the admin's done, all the logistics are done. There's the odd wee tweak. If you're coming to the convention and something isn't to your liking, tell me or Colin first before you go to social media. Would be much appreciated if something isn't working out the way that's supposed to work out. But it's a smaller convention this year, and as Colin says, a tremendous property, and we have all the luxuries of having the golf course and literally within walking distance. The football pitch is literally within walking distance. The Eagles, was it Eagles Nest or Eagles Ranch, is the kind of their Top Golf version, brand new. It was being built when I was down visiting there, a couple of years ago and such. So it's going to be a brilliant time for everyone that's there. I tried to get to try to sneak a chocolate order in with a particular group chat that I'm part of, so I might have an opportunity to sample some Galaxies or Dairy Milks or Whole Nuts or whatever it's going to be. I'm looking forward to that as well. So it's going to be great. Looking forward to seeing everyone there. There are still some tickets for sale, and we can sell tickets up to basically and including the nights of as well. So don't think that you've missed out if you haven't purchased them already. And I'm sure there'll be the odd straggler or two. In terms of communications for this last week, not a lot on the Rangers front. Obviously, everything was dominated by the new manager appointment and then some interviews with Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell and such. And that's kind of cool. Just a reminder that there is the Rangers Ladies Lunch that's presented by Molten Brown on Friday, the 22nd of August. And Five Stars are having an evening with our former management team, Barry Ferguson, Allan, McGregor, Neil McCann and Billy Dodds. That's on the 3rd of January, and that's at the Doubletree by Hilton, Glasgow Central. Tickets are £80 or £120 for the VIP version of that. Any last parting words for our guests and potential guests and our clientele that's going to be spending time with us this week, Colin?
Well, first of all, by the time that Gary comes to record again, the convention will be over, but so will Father's Day. So yes. Sunday is Father's Day, so, want to make sure that you all have a extra special Father's Day if you come down to Murphy's on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, have a happy Father's Day. It's a day I don't get to spend much time with my son on because we're always doing things like conventions and, he's not overly enthusiastic about being stuck in a hotel for 4 days when he lives in Florida and the options are huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point about Father's Day, and we do the itinerary for Sunday is brilliant. We're going, as Colin mentioned last week, we're going to be doing a Heart and Hand live show there at David Edgar. I'm typically on it. I would imagine Mark Haley, Bomber Brown would be on it, and maybe even I think actually Fraser Thornton's leaving on the Sunday, but we'll have someone else, or maybe just the three of us, whatever that looks like, and we'll have a great time. They're always fun to do. You get a lot of information from these things, all the specials that Colin's got. We've got some music. We've got the World Club Cup Championship starting as well, and there's some lots of fun things going on. I believe the basketball game 4 of the finals, or maybe it's the hockey, because you get the Florida Panthers and such like that they're playing. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's going to be.
Isn't that your team that they're playing?
Edmonton is 3 hours north of Calgary. They're supposed to have a rivalry. It's kind of like, Rangers and Celtic is like the Oilers and the Flames, and I'm like, no, it's not. No, because you're just kind of like, boo, and they all sit together. There's no segregation. There's no extreme policing or anything like that required. There's just a bit of a friendly sporting rivalry between both of the cities. But there are a few people I've met here in Calgary who just do not want the Oilers to win it. But I think they might be disappointed this year because it looks like they're going to get a chance to do it. So we'll see what that looks like. But lots going on, I guess, is the best way to announce it. So, Colin, thank you once again for the opportunity to chat with you again. Thank you for everything that you've done for the convention. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday and beyond, and having a few beers and having a bit of a laugh and seeing what hilarity this momentous occasion is going to bring for both of us. And we will see how that goes. To everyone else, thank you very, very much, my friends, as always, for taking the time to tune in to this particular episode. We'll see what sort of sound bites we can maybe gather this week from some of the legends to kind of splice into future podcasts and such as well. It's all systems go. We are ready to rock and roll this week. Can't wait to see everybody there who is making the effort to go down, and we will have a brilliant time. I imagine the podcast next week will involve me with a very sore throat, sounding a little bit tired and such, and we'll see what that looks like.
And it'll be live from Murphy's on the Monday, yeah?
I'm going to
find you under a counter.
Do you know what? I was actually saying last night, I'm going to be absolutely kicking myself when I leave on Sunday. I know for a fact I am. And then on Monday morning, I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a nice pat on the back and say, you did the right thing, Gary. You did. I don't know if that's how... We'll see what Sunday feels like, but I'll make the flight. I'll have a good time. I'll rest as much as I can. I'll bring you a podcast of some description next week. Colin, my friend, thanks again.
You're welcome. See you all. 3 days.